Greetings, fellow speculators. There's a company that I like to watch called Eurasian Minerals. This company inspires me by the creativity of their contracts, the way they put their deals together. They're always getting someone else to pay the bills, and they're looking to end up with royalties on their projects. Royalties are the best slice of mineral projects. Royalty is some little percentage of the cash flow that comes out of the project when it's up and going and operating successfully. They've added on to that by getting advanced minimum royalties in some of these deals. They get cash flow before the project's even built. Give the company that's sitting on it a little extra boost to get into action and go make the thing happen. So these guys, to me, are the standard of how to structure deals. Looking at how they structure their deals, this is the most advanced prospect generator I know of, I follow, and I love to read into their deals. So just recently they announced a new deal, May 4th, 2015. Eurasian Minerals announced a deal with Kennecott. Kennecott is a subsidiary of Rio Tinto. Rio Tinto bought out Kennecott, back in the day, and they operate like the largest mines in the world, basically. Massive copper production, massive scale, massive cash flow is what they're looking for. And the idea has been, is the project that you're looking at better than one of those big ones that are already operating? No, they're not even close. Does it even have a chance? So why should we bother spending any money or time on it? Let's just invest more time and money into the ones that are already operating, make them bigger, shorten their production life from 100 years to 50 years or something, and increase our net present values more in that way. So getting somebody with the scale and expertise of Kennecott to come work on your project says a lot. It says that your project might have massive size, really big upside potential for a little company like Eurasian Minerals. So how do you get them to do the deal? So here's their news release. Kennecott is paying the meager little amount of $149,187. I bet you each one of those dollars stands for something. It probably covers the cost and the taxes or something that got Eurasian Minerals into this project. Knowing those guys, I bet you they're out for cost and maybe a little bit more. But thereafter, this is where the deal gets interesting. They've got to complete $5.5 million exploration, so they get work done on their property. So they don't actually transfer ownership until the exploration's been done on the property. And Kennecott's also got to pay annual, that's every year, payments totaling $1 million before the 5th anniversary of the agreement. So you got to give us almost 150 grand up front, which pocket change for these kinds of deals. You got to complete $5.5 million in exploration, and you've got to pay us $1 million a year. So don't sit on your butt. Give us $1 million or get off of it so we can go work this project with somebody else. And if you stop paying those bills somewhere along the way, or the people change, the ideas change, the market changes, whatever, the project goes back to Eurasian Minerals. But up until that decision or that problem happens, Eurasian gets the money, and the project. And if Kennecott gets through paying $1 million a year for 5 years and does $5.5 million in exploration on the project, and they still are going for it, then Eurasian falls back to a 2% net smelter royalty on the properties. And there's an old timers rule of thumb that I've heard of a couple times from some of the guys that put these kinds of deals together, that when they're figuring them, they'll think a highly profitable mine, not a low margin mine, but a nice margin mine that makes a bunch of money. The 1% net smelter royalty is kind of equivalent to 10% of the profits of that project. So if you wanted to end up with 20% of ownership in that thing, for example, you want 20% of the profits, is a better way to look at it. An easier way to ask for 20% of the profits is ask for this little tiny number, 2% of a net smelter royalty. And so when Rio Tinto or Kennecott goes back and explains this deal to shareholders someday, they can say, we own the project, we own the whole thing, subject to this 2% net smelter royalty. Not so many people pay attention to that. It's a lot easier to promote the project and build it and make it happen, even though 20% of the profits, an average deal like this, would go to Eurasian Minerals if the project happens. So if Eurasian Minerals lands one of these elephant projects with Kennecott and Rio Tinto building it, making it happen, and gets 2% net smelter royalty, that's a game changer for Eurasian Minerals. So it could send their share price flying. Now they have long timelines at putting these things together, so it's a dream and a hope for later on someday. They keep collecting these on lots of projects. The list goes on and on. I can't name them all. There's so many that they've got that this might happen on. But in the meantime, these guys turn up the juice a little more. They give Kennecott the option to buy back 1% if they want, for $4 million somewhere along the way. But you know, they keep 1% no matter what. And after all that, after the option gets exercised, so Eurasian Minerals doesn't own the thing anymore, but they still have the 2% smelter royalty, and the project's not in production yet, Eurasian Minerals gets an advanced minimum royalty annually. It means they get paid every year until the project goes into production. And they start at $125,000 a year, commencing on the first anniversary of the date. They will increase $200,000 upon completion of one thing, and they go up. Kennecott has to make a one-time payment of, and they put all these other clauses in here. Kennecott will have to pay this, they'll have to pay that, and they'll have to pay. You have to give them cash bonuses as the different milestones of the project are met, and they keep moving this project forward. Eurasian keeps getting paid along the way, and so that is an example of how I love to see these deals set up and structured. That's Eurasian Minerals setting the table for one of their projects to potentially become a massive mining operation someday, and to get paid a ton on it when it does. In the meantime, they'll collect cash payments along the way to make sure they don't have some deadbeat people sitting on their projects, and in that fashion they're slowly growing the company. At the same time, their share price has been looking like a lot of the rest of the companies in our sector. If you go to the exchange, this is on the Canadian side. They also trade in the US for under the symbol EMXX, but in Canada it's EMX, and their share price is just down, 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 down with our sector. But eventually, as they keep piling up these royalties, one of these larger royalty companies would probably come suck them up for it, buy the whole thing, or people will start to understand those royalties are worth more than what they're trading for, and the share prices start going up. And that's why I'm watching Eurasian Minerals. I like learning the details of their deals, and encourage other prospect generators to copy the details and the clauses that these guys put into their deals. I think they're the most creative at it, and they're the best at pulling them off. And over time, as these guys keep doing it, and the treasury of knowledge of people that they have at this company, they keep slamming these deals in, it should grow Eurasian Minerals. I think it should be a nice lower risk royalty company that grows over time. Just a good way to be invested into natural resources without the higher speculative side that a lot of these companies entail, with still getting upside as the metals go up over time. Should impact Eurasian Minerals share price. So if you're interested in these kinds of updates on Eurasian Minerals and companies like them, I suggest you go to ProsperousAdventure.com and check out what I have to offer, as well as sign up to my YouTube channel. Thank you for listening.